Welcome back to Court Candy, where the takes are sweet and the tea is strong. My name is Sloan. I'll be your host today. And as usual, we have my wonderful co-host, Kate, is here today. Say hi.
Hey, Sloan. How's it going?
It's good. Unfortunately, we will not be hitting the candy bar today. It's Kate is on the other side of the continent in Seattle. Kate, how's it going? The Pacific Northwest.
It is pretty good. It's beautiful weather, although I was anticipating a storm. I was at the storm game on Monday night on Labor Day, and it was a bit of a devastating loss. So that was too bad.
Yeah, we're going to pick your brain about what happened there. But in the meantime, are you feeling thirsty?
I'm thirsty.
Great, because I've got some tea for you. So let's get down into it. The Dallas Wings, they're doing very poorly. And because of that, according to Yahoo Sports, the Dallas Wings have a 40% chance to clinch the number one pick in the 2026 WNBA draft for the second year running, which means that they have a very rare opportunity to pair Paige Bueckers with another NCAA phenom. So I've thought about this a lot, and what I think they could do, and what I think a lot of Paisley fans want, is to recruit Paige's former teammate and current girlfriend, AZ Fudd. Or they could actually go and help Paige out and the rest of the team out and bring in Lauren Betts from the UCLA Bruins, who is a center and really putting up some amazing numbers. She's averaging 20.2 points and 9.5 rebounds per game last year. So there's also top picks like Olivia Miles as well as Flau'jae Johnson. What are your thoughts?
I think, to me, it feels like unless we see some major off-season trades coming out of the Wings, I think it's very likely that they're going to need a big on the team. So if I was the hopefully new coach and general manager recruiting for next season, and I had the exact same lineup that I had this season, I think I would probably be aiming for Lauren Betts from sort of a strategic standpoint. However, I think in terms of what it would do for the team, for the excitement around the Dallas Wings, to have Paisley there in its entirety, I think would be a huge win from a marketing perspective. So you really can't go wrong either way. I do feel like those are the two obvious top picks, and we'll see what they choose. But yeah, my strategic hat says Lauren Betts and my marketing hat says AZ Fudd.
What about your heart? What does your heart say?
AZ Fudd, obviously. Gotta have the girls together.
We've already established this. We're huge Paisley fans. But I think that with this pick as the number one pick, it's really important to get the best pick because the Washington Mystics already have 3 first-round draft picks, and that swap with the Connecticut Sun. Whoever they pick, they have to be very strategic about it. I think
you need the best pick for your team. And that could be the team dynamic, and that could also be the team, like the energy around the team. So I'm really, really curious to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, I really do believe that they do need a big strong because Yuru, as much as we love her and as much as she's just happy to be there, she's a great player, but I don't think she's as aggressive as she needs to be going up for rebounds. She does have good games, but I think that if they can get a Lauren Betts on there, they can still build a really strong team, hopefully in the next couple of years.
We love a former teammate. I just don't know what they would do with another all-star guard on their team. I mean, you asked what my heart said. I said it was AZ.
One thing that I want to draw attention to here is the CBA negotiations. Right? It's kind of fallen to the wayside since the all-star game where it was like, pay us what you owe us. And I want to make sure that the conversation continues to flow. I think last week or the week before, there was conversations about how some creators the players have a lot to lose if they don't come to an agreement with the owners. But I don't agree with that. I personally think that the owners, the league, they have a lot more to lose than the players themselves. The players have options. They can go play overseas. They can go to Europe where they're getting paid way more. Like Diane Taurasi was talking about how she made like $1 million to not play in the WNBA paid by Russia. They can go to China. They can go to Unrivaled. Some folks are saying that Unrivaled's not a threat, but they could be a threat if the opportunity were to present itself.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that there's an opportunity for the players to actually walk away and make more money. Even Satu Sabali was like, I made more money on Unrivaled than I did in the past years that I was I made more money at Unrivaled than I did in the past few years that I was working in the WNBA, except for this year. Yeah, I don't know. The WNBA has 2 expansion teams coming in. There's a lot of interest in buying the Connecticut Sun for $325 million. They even want to buy the Sun themselves for $250 million, and then to sell them to Houston. So there's a lot of interest. There's a lot of money flowing. There's multi-million-dollar media deals. What happens if there's a stoppage? All the momentum just goes away. This is a once in a generation momentum that's been brought on by the players themselves, not the league. So if they fumble hard. And that's
Exactly.
on them.
Yeah. And really, like, if not now, then when, I think is the real question. Because, this kind of magic only comes around once in a blue moon, and you can't anticipate when that next opportunity is going to be. And if you don't take the best advantage of it that you can in this moment in time, you risk, like, this is a lot of leverage that the players have right now. And like you said, the teams may exist without the players, but will the audience be there? And will the team owners be able to recruit new players? Like, no, it's just not, the league is who it is because of the people who play in it. And this is really that moment to negotiate a deal that is fair to the women. And I think you're right to say, like, the heat needs to stay on. There's only a short period of time left before these CBA negotiations come to a halt, and a walkout could be on the table. So I'm really curious to see what'll happen. And yeah. It's a critical moment for sure.
Speaking about standing on your business, Angel Reese today came out with a statement, and she put the Chicago Sky on notice. She said, I am no longer settling for the same shit that we did this year.
Mm-hmm.
Are you surprised?
No. It's been a really, really, really bad season for the Chicago Sky. They're currently ranked second to last in the rankings. They are, how many games behind? They're 22 and a half games behind. It's a bad season, and the team has not been performing the way that they need to perform. And good for Angel to say, we're not doing this again. Like, you got to turn something around.
Yeah. So the Chicago Sky this year, they gave up their 3rd draft pick for Ariel Atkins. She did not perform. They brought in Courtney Vandersloot, who won the championship for the Sky in 2021. She tore her ACL. It's just been so rocky for them. They lost to Teresa Witherspoon for Tyler Marsh, who has not coached that hard at all. But we did see huge growth. We did see huge growth with Angel Wilson. We did see huge growth with Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso. The problem was that their record was 9-30. That is an abysmal record. So Angel Reese was like, I want my career to stay with the Chicago Sky. I want to vouch for the team. I'm going to try as hard as I can. That if they're not going to work with me and try to improve and try to bring the best players here, then I'm going to leave because I don't want to lose. Like, she is a winner, baby. She's a winner in life. Like, her brand is taken off with Reebok. She has Me Bound. She's a businesswoman. She's a philanthropist. And now she's even an actor. She made a cameo in Catherine Bigelow's Netflix film, which is getting rave reviews at the Venice Film Festival. So this lady is not going down quietly, and she's not going down. She will abandon ship. She is Rose on the door, and the Chicago Sky is Jack.
Yeah, and she has the opportunity to be a franchise player for this team, but you can't be a franchise player. I mean, you can be, but you want to be a franchise player for a winning team. Mm-hmm. And this guy need to figure out how to turn it around, and put together the coaching staff and the talent on the team that will really deliver a cohesive team that is able to work together with more than just 2 or 3 players really holding down the fort, because we know that you can't win on that. The team has to come together.
Yeah. And even when Angel Reese is out, like due to injury, like her back injury, Chicago Sky are just, why are they even playing? They just do terribly. Like, Angel Reese is putting up the numbers. She's being a point guard. She's being a rebounder when she's playing. So they really need to bring in the best talent if they even want to be in the playoff run. So I agree with Angel. She's standing on business, and I'm glad that she said that I'm glad that she said this publicly to make it known to the Chicago Sky organization, because without Angel Reese, they wouldn't have anything.
Absolutely. And we were just talking about, the Dallas Wings and their opportunity in the draft next season. I'm really, really curious to see what happens with the Sky. I can't remember what their draft position is right now in terms of like how many picks they'll have, but we can expect that they will be relatively early in that draft, given their abysmal ranking, as you mentioned. So yeah, I'm really curious to see.
One thing that I want to call attention to is that she mentioned that Tyler Marsh needs to coach harder. So the whole time we're just like, is he a silent assassin? Does he need more time, more experience? And to get that right from Angel Reese, who's been in the locker rooms with him, who has been in practice with him, it actually provides more clarity into who he is as a coach. Because like you said, Teresa Weatherspoon had 1 year to coach and she was canned and wasn't given a second chance. If he is given a second chance, is it because he's a man? Like, do we know? Right?
Yeah, I mean, this calls back to last episode. I think
Yeah.
I would be pretty disappointed, and I think a lot of other people would be, to see Tyler Marsh come back next season after such an abysmal performance. I think they're ranked lower this season than they were last season, and now sort of outspoken calls about the quality of the coaching. If he's still around, to me, I think it says something about how the league values their coaches, and it's not something that I'd be happy to hear.
Yeah, I agree with you. But good for Angel Reese for calling it out and being transparent.
For sure.
Okay, another person that always doesn't have a filter, Sophie Cunningham.
She sure doesn't.
Sophie Cunningham. Sophie Cunningham, before she joined the Indiana Fever, she was given the nickname Mega Barbie because of her social media activity. She had been liking right-wing content. People had been seeing it. There's a lot of history if you go back. And so she was interviewed by the New York Times, and she said that there was misconceptions that just because she's white and from Missouri, that people thought that she was right-wing. But she's not. In fact, she's moderate. She's smack dab in the middle. And so people are clamoring to this and saying, actually, Sophie, this is way worse than being right-wing, because what do you stand for? When I think about this, I think back to Hamilton. You and I are Hamilton fans. And Hamilton goes to Aaron Burr, freaking Aaron Burr. It's like, what do you stand for, Burr? You stand for nothing. So I'm not really a political person, but you are. So what are your thoughts on Sophie Cunningham's statement here? And also, in addition, why is the New York Times writing about her? There's so many other things that they could talk about. They could talk about the CBA negotiations. They could talk about race relations in the WNBA. They could talk about so many other things.
Yeah, well, frankly, I think that the race relations in the league have been a really heavy point of conversation in the media this season. There was the article about, it was like a miserable opinion piece about needing to basically ref harder against people who are like playing tough against Caitlin Clark. Can't remember the name of that article. I do remember that the cover photo included Tip Hayes. And then there's this article about Sophie Cunningham. I think, certainly the Fever, Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham are a flashpoint, especially for these conversations about race in the league. In terms of her political stance, I have to say, I think that there are a lot of people in the US that identify themselves as right down the middle. Like, I think that is a very common stance for people to take. That said, I think it's a very privileged stance for people to take. I don't think it indicates that you have skin in the game when it comes to the political machinery of the country, right? Like, it is a country that is deeply influenced by its politics. And to decide to not have strong political feelings about what's going on in this moment in time indicates a level of privilege that many do not have. So I think that's part of the challenge. And also, like, it is a very, like I say, this is a high conflict moment where not having an opinion for a lot of people is considered to be supporting the actions that are happening by the administration right now. So I think that's probably just a few of the thoughts and opinions that are kind of milling about this Sophie Cunningham piece. But I can certainly understand people's frustration and anger with her and this kind of literally middling like, not having a strong opinion one way or another feels like not real, right? Like it feels inherently not tangible in this moment in time when so much is actually happening to people.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, what's your sense of it?
I feel, and this is just my opinion, I feel like if you're not coming out and saying that you're right wing or left wing, or you're a Democrat or Republican, you're smack dab in the middle, you are not left. You're pretty much right, but you don't want to say it because you don't want the backlash. She is in a league where her teammates are queer and they're black, and they're black and queer, right? So whatever she says and her beliefs from obvious evidence are on the right side. So if she comes out and says something, it might harm her relationships with her teammates. And Sophie is a great teammate. Like, she stands up for her teammates. She has a jovial, fun relationship with her teammates. Her teammates seem to love her, right? So I don't know. She's kind of between a rock and a hard place, and it's kind of difficult for her to be her authentic self and stand up for what she believes in. So I don't know how she might want to come out and say who she is politically, like with her political stance. So, for my opinion, I just think she's right wing, and she's just saying something that she just doesn't want to get in trouble for, even though she's getting in trouble for not saying anything at all.
Yeah.
Because people can read between the lines. They're not stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it is such a good point when you are making a career off a sport where that is like so heavily informed by the women who play it, women of color, queer women, women whose expression of their gender identity is all over the place. Like, they're not just, there's not just gay women in the league. There are, people who represent a lot of different, parts of the spectrum of what gender feels like. And,
Exactly.
and to like, even to harbor really right wing feeling, like political opinions feels hard to reconcile given the sport that you play and the people that you play it with.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I mean, first of all, half of the country aligns with the right side of the political spectrum right now, right? Like, that is the fact. And a lot of these players they are not a monolith. They come from all different walks of life, all different parts of the country, all different states, all different political backgrounds. And furthermore, a lot of them went to college at universities with very right wing coaches. Like, we know that there are college coaches that are homophobic. Like, straight up, that is a known.
Like Kim Mulkey,
and these are
for
coaches.
instance.
Yeah, exactly. These are coaches who coach queer women day in and day out who are known to be homophobic. And so, like, what does that say about the sport? And is Sophie Cunningham an outlier, or is she just one piece of a broader and very complex cloth that it represents what basketball is and what college athletics is and what, sports in general is in the country?
Yeah, it's hard to say. It's so nuanced, especially in America, right? It's hard to say. One of the, actually not one, but several comments were like, how does this have anything? So basically, I posted this a couple of days ago, right? And a lot of the comments, it got so much traction. The comment was, how does this have anything to do with basketball? Can we not just talk about basketball? My response always is, this is the WNBA. It is inherently about social issues, gender, and race. Like, it is just built in. I think it's completely, those things exist as well in the NBA and other areas or other leagues as well. But it's a little bit different in the WNBA from my perspective. I want to know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, it is hard to divorce the context in which women's sports exists from the political environment of the day, especially of this day and age where trans issues are front and center. Like, that's one example. There are people stopping cisgender women in bathrooms to interrogate them for being trans, and there is soon going to be the ability to, like, essentially, like, self-report or, like, citizen fine people essentially for being in the wrong restrooms. There are women in the WNBA who are cisgender women who have been playing basketball professionally for a very long time, who, if you met them randomly in a bathroom, you might not know who you're talking to, because it's not, this person is over 6 feet tall, has a relatively low voice, may dress in a more masculine fashion. That is inherently political when that like existence as a woman is being politicized. And like, it is not our place to know what is going on with a person. That person is a woman and they are showing up in a woman's space because they're a woman. And these people could still be subject to the kinds of abuses that that are now really proliferating through the country. So like, that is just one way in which this sport is political. It is political in the sense that even just this week, Kayla McBride was talking about how much has changed in the league, about how women are out nowadays, and how nice it is that people can be so open about their sexuality. That didn't exist. Like, we talked about this in one of our first episodes. It was just over 10 years ago that the first Pride Night happened in the WNBA. And it was only 10 years ago that gay marriage was legalized in the United States. That makes the presence and the visibility of queer women in the league political. The existence of women's sports is also by nature political, because a lot of women's sporting leagues were created in response to not allowing women to play in men's leagues. So it is inherently political. I understand wanting to love the sport for the sake of the sport. And I think like the sport itself is not about politics. But politics comes into play when we think about the broader context, and also when we think about things like refereeing, right? Like that show, not necessarily like an even and fair balance of calls against players of color compared to white players. And so what are those biases that exist, and how does it influence players? Where's money flowing, right? Where is money flowing to attractive, like heterosexual presenting, like traditionally beautiful women, more white, more black, like those things are all inherently political. And I know that is some of that has to do with kind of a capitalist society and who is, saleable. But I think it is one thing to say, like, what I care about is watching the game. And you can choose to not observe and not read articles about so much of this if you don't want to. You don't have to participate in Twitter or Threads or, read the New York Times article about Sophie Cunningham if you don't want to. You can just watch the game. And that is a choice that you can make. But it is not reasonable to expect the entire machinery around the game to not acknowledge the broader context in which that game is played.
You're so smart. Okay. You spoke about reffing. So, as you know, Candace Parker has a podcast called Post Moves with Aaliyah Boston. Aaliyah asked her a couple of questions. Two of them I'm just going to talk to you about briefly here. One of them, she actually, not a question, I think it was just part of the conversation where she talked about reffing. How can reffing get better? And Candace was just like, I actually don't remember the details of it. It came down to money. They just need to be trained better. And in order to do that, you need money to train them better. Like the NBA has a program where the refs get better at reffing, right? And then that's better calls, better reffing, better refs.
No matter your political leaning, if there's one complaint that everybody agrees on all sides of the all sides of the spectrum, it is that the reffing is inconsistent, biased, and overall just atrocious.
Yeah. If there's one thing that pisses Caitlin Clark off the most, and it's not her injuries, it's the refs. So I think that if one thing that needs to be done, it would be to invest in making sure that the refs are properly trained.
Yeah.
And that they are paid properly. Because I don't think they make a lot of money because they they ref across like multiple leagues. For them to be there at the WNBA, and they travel a lot, and there's not a lot of them because I see like the same refs over and over again. So it's very, very taxing on them. But that would certainly help because I certainly would not want to be a ref, no matter how much money you pay me, because I don't think that I have the emotional strength to be a ref, to get yelled at and to be trolled by none other than Caitlin Clark. I would cry. Like I would go to the broom closet in the arena and cry.
Yeah, I just don't think that I have the attention span to stare that hard at every play and make sure that everyone's doing everything right. Like they do have to be not just looking at where the ball is, they have to be looking at where people are going, where they've been. They need to see, what's happening in the off ball play and, the reffing is a full court thing, and there's what three refs at any given time trying to watch 10 players.
And all that cardio.
I mean, compared to the girls, I don't feel so bad for them on the cardio front, but yeah.
It doesn't matter. There's still cardio in your job. Like, it's terrible.
Don't sign me up.
Don't sign me up to be a ref, please. I'd rather be a podcast where I just sit here and talk about being a ref.
Yeah, and it's very easy for us to sit here and talk about refs. So referees, we know that your job is not easy. We also don't necessarily love how you're doing it.
Yeah, please do better. But you know what? It's on the league to help you do better. So how can we help you do better? Aaliyah Boston, in the same episode, asked Candace Parker, she's like, would you ever be a coach in the W? Candace was like, hell no, I would never be a coach in the W. But if I were a coach in the W, it would be for the Aces or the Fever.
Interesting.
Did
you say why specifically those teams?
No, I honestly just saw the clip. So I saw the clip and I was like, interesting. Why the Aces and why the Fever? I've actually played with the Aces.
And she was talking to Boston, who's on the Fever.
So maybe that was it. Certainly she's not going to be a coach with the Chicago Sky because she said all that shit about Angel Reese. So she definitely doesn't want that conflict. But why not be a coach on a team where your experience is going to be valuable and it will be helpful in boosting the team up, like the Dallas Wings, right?
To me, she would be on the no list just by her inherent disinterest in being a coach. That's like me saying, you know what, like, I don't ever want to be an actor, but if I was an actor, I'd want to be the biggest movie star in the world.
A'ja Wilson posted a video of her team going to a party where it was like, dress your type. So dress your type as in dress as the type of person that you're most attracted to.
Yep.
And so A'ja Wilson came in, she was wearing a Miami Heat jersey. She had her do-rag on, same do-rag that she stole from Bam for that game that she was playing. It was a red do-rag, right? She had number 31. I think that's his number.
Is that the one she was wearing when her mom texted her and said she looked like Squidward?
And then she slowly took it off and said that her mom texted her that. I love her. Like, she doesn't take these post-game interviews seriously. Like, she was doing her skincare the other week while she was in the interview.
She's a deeply serious player and a deeply unserious person.
Unserious person. And that's what makes me love her the most. And so anyways, and then Melissa came in dressed as Dejanay. And then Dejanay actually wore that same outfit today to go to the gym.
I wish Melissa had spent a bit more effort on her hair. I will say that. Because
she should have wore that beautiful hair.
Yeah. Dejanay, I mean, Melissa's hair is great, but Dejanay is known for the lashes, for her beat face, for the amazing hair, pink, blonde, whatever it was going to be. The body was on, the outfit was right, but the hair, I mean, I think she did Dejanay a disservice with that hair.
She did her best.
Can I tell you the one that made me the most curious was obviously Jackie Young.
I was just going to bring that up. Okay, well, tell me about it then.
Yeah, well, Jackie Young is, I think, more notoriously quiet about her orientation, her preferences, but she came dressed up super femme last night. So seemed to, assuming she was let in the door because she had to dress as her type, seemed to confirm that not only is she into women, but she's also into femme women. So that was a fun surprise for, I think, a lot of us. Maybe some people knew, but my sense from the broader community is that this was a big reveal. And she looks cute too.
She's into bad bitches only. If that's what those letters mean. I don't know. I'm not with it, to be honest with you. She's for the girls.
Love it. Another one on the team. Oh, yeah. Did you see that Unrivaled? Did you see that on Unrivaled? And not the actual Unrivaled, but there's like an Instagram account that's like Unrivaled Data. And they officially said that the Laces are the gayest team because I think everyone on the team is gay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
So new news.
New news. The Laces are officially the gayest team because everybody is gay on that team. Who did they have that was removed from the team?
I don't know who was removed, but there's 6 players and Jackie's on it. So that was the revelation, is that now it's literally everybody because it's like, oh God, I can't remember who's on it. I know Kayla's on it. Don't quiz me.
I know Katie Martin. There's a few others. And if you do want to support Unrivaled, they did have their new merch drop yesterday and they have some really cute merch. They have some crop tops. They have some really great t-shirts and hoodies and crew necks. So go ahead and buy some merch and support a league that actually pays their players right and treats their players right.
Amazing. And also, just
we're not sponsored by Unrivaled. We just care about people who care about
We buy
people.
merch from everywhere.
We do. Okay, let's get into it. Are you ready? So it's an exciting time. We have I think 2 weeks. Okay, 11 days for the regular season is left. 11 days until the regular season ends. So far, we have 5 teams that have clinched their spot in the playoffs. They are Minnesota, Las Vegas, Atlanta, Phoenix, and most recently, New York. Can you say it? New York.
New York.
That was echoey. That was kind of cool.
Little town blue.
So Minnesota, they beat Seattle, Connecticut, Dallas across the past week to secure a home court advantage for as long as they're in the playoffs. The Aces somehow made it from 8th place to 2nd place, mainly because of Asia Wilson whooping everybody's butts and also playing incredibly well. And then also the Atlanta Dream, they are doing well. And also Jordan Canada is back from her injury, that little cutie patootie. It hurts me that she was hurt. And then Phoenix Mercury, we talk about it all the time. Unexpected that they would be here, but AT is playing the best that she's ever played in her career with a million triple doubles. And then the Liberty, not playing so well, but somehow have clinched their spot. They themselves are not happy with their own play. Brandon Stewart did come out and say that the team is not playing with a championship mentality. And I completely agree with her. And also Sandy Brandello agrees with her too.
Yeah.
Seeds 6 to 9 is what we will talk about because the Washington Mystics have been eliminated.
Yeah. So we've only got 4 teams left in contention.
Yeah, the Golden State Valkyries have plucked the Indiana Fever out of 6th place and sent them into 8th. Natalie Nakase is out coaching everyone in Valhalla. Mo Billings is back. Unfortunately, they had to waive Bree Hall to make room for Mo Billings, but they just signed Liz Kitley today just for a 7-day hardship contract because Tip Hayes is out with an injury just for a week. She's expected to be back. But anyways, what's going on with this inaugural team? I swear, Valhalla is going and stepping into the matrix where only the Golden State Valkyries win. They play amazing. And I think one thing about Natalie Nakase is that she has this amazing ability to bring out every player's authentic self, where they feel so comfortable that they play the best ball they can ever play. If you look at everyone, especially Caitlin Chen, when the shot clock went out the other day against, I believe, the Indiana Fever, they were playing patty cakes during break. Every time there's a 3, they're doing the sprinkler, they're doing the Spider-Man meme. And I don't think any other team enjoys their time as much as the players do in the Golden State Valkyries. And she took a team of players that people didn't feel like they needed to protect during the draft, during the expansion draft, right? And she gave them a home, loved them, nourished them, taught them, and now they're literally in 6th place in the playoff run in their first year.
These 6 women essentially is kind of, it's a team full of people whose entire job on their last team was to be able to mesh with their team in whatever way their team needed them, right? How are you pinch hitting for your team in a given moment? The team full of people who know how to adapt, who know how to be flexible. This team has dealt with crazy change this year, whether it's injuries, absences for Euroball. It's just been really a wild season. Some really disappointing goodbyes to various players, some really exciting recruitments.
And returns.
Yeah, exactly. And returns. And I think overall, their style of play is really electric. And I think the other piece of it that you mentioned is Valhalla, right? It's their home court, fervor. We're not even just talking about fandom that. Those people go so hard in their first season. It is what you want to see with an expansion team. And I think it is, it is the new gold standard for what expand looks like.
Yeah. The Seattle Storm, Kate. I don't know what's happening. They've had some trades, but they brought in Brittany Sykes to help them move forward in the playoff run. The last game, and you were there on Monday, they played the Los Angeles Sparks on their home court. They had a lead of 17 points and they blew it.
Yeah. And we're talking full house. Climate Pledge Arena was sold out.
What happened?
It's hard to say. After a short Sparks lead early in the first, the Storm came out and solidified a lead in the first quarter that they maintained throughout the whole game. And we saw some really beautiful play in the first half. Nneka Ogwumike was 5 for 6 on three in the first half. Like, her shooting was excellent. The whole game really felt like it was running smoothly. They weren't maintaining the biggest lead, but I think they were ahead by 12 or 14 at the half. And then after the break is really like something felt different. It's like something was in the air. It was less that the Sparks came out of the gate like screaming. I mean, they played really well, but it felt, I mean, Kelsey Plum was playing well, Rakia Jackson was playing well. Certainly the players were doing well. I mean, we saw Brink ousted from the game pretty early I can't remember if it was in the third or the fourth, but the foul calls against Brink were hard and fast, and she was fouled out. But ultimately, it less felt like the Sparks pulled together an incredible half, and it felt more like the Storm lost whatever magic had been happening in the first half. And I mean, there still were some beautiful threes sunk. Like, the gameplay was not atrocious, but it just, it's like the ball deflated a little bit and it just wasn't rolling in the right direction anymore. So yeah, it was very strange because they really maintained a lead. Like, from partway through the first until maybe 5 minutes left in the fourth, they were in the lead for the whole game. And that lead just narrowed and narrowed. And then suddenly they were up only two. And then suddenly they were tied. And suddenly the Sparks were up two. The Sparks got 2 free throws.
It was slow. It was a slow progression.
Yeah. And at that point in time, it just felt like there weren't enough minutes left in the game for them to pull back through. And I think with about 40 seconds left, they were down by 5. And that was basically the game at that point in time. Like, there was just no coming back from it. So I know the coach, Quinn, pulled the timeout pretty late in the fourth with 20 some odd seconds to go. But it down by 5. It was just too late at that point in time to pull anything out of the hat. And there were a lot of missed shots. Like, really, it felt like the desperation in that final quarter was palpable, and the desperation made them perform badly. Frankly, I think that I don't know if it's the pressure of the team, the team name having been a championship team so many times, if it's like the Storm legacy that's a problem. I don't know if it's a problem with the number of vets on the team. It's a really seasoned team, and I don't know if it's an issue with personality. Something just isn't setting. The cake is not rising, and it's just hard to watch. It was really disappointing, and that you could feel the whole auditorium was really deflated by the end.
It was, what was harder, I don't know if you saw it, but the post-game interview with Skylar Diggins, and I've never...
Oh, no, I didn't see it. What was it?
She didn't say a word. She was just sat like this, and she looked down and she was holding back tears.
Oh.
Skylar, the biggest troll to the Minnesota Lynx, where she was doing the electric slide, was just holding back tears, and with her messy hair. It was really hard to watch. She has a lot going on. She's going through a divorce. She has 2 kids, young kids, and she's trying to bring and lead the team to the championship. We're like, why are you talking about a divorce? Your personal life has a huge bearing on your professional life as well. It's hard to separate the two. And I don't know what's going to happen with the Storm. I know that they're still 1 game ahead of the Indiana Fever. I think they have about 2 games left. The Sparks have a few more games. They're at 19 wins right now. I don't know what's going to happen, but with the way that they're playing right now, it's not good.
I think there's a real chance that they could fall out of the running, and I think that would be a real a kind of a come to Jesus moment for the team. I will do a little highlight if that's okay. And we've been talking about the thorns of that game, but it was really fun because there is some stuff that happens, like the magic that happens in the stadium that you don't necessarily see at home. So there were a few kind of nicknames that we got to really enjoy. So whenever Nneka went up, they said they would be Madam President at the free throw line or whatever. So that one was really fun. Whenever Ezzy McMcGore got a 3-pointer, because she's Australian, they go, Ezzy, Ezzy, Ezzy. And the crowd goes, oi, 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 which is really cute. And when Diggins gets a 3, they say, "Can you?" And then the whole crowd goes, "Dig it." So there's like a handful of really fun, like interactive elements to that, like in like that live game experience. I really loved it. I thought it was a lot of fun. And that's like the joy of being there in person and having been where we've been. We've only like that's only my second ever in person W game. And so I just hope for more fans to be able to catch a game live wherever they can, whether it's their home team game or if they're able to, catch a game wherever they are. It is really pretty magical and well worth the effort. And also just to see the girls play live. They're great at what they do.
Yeah, amazing. I love the W. It's so fun. It's like one of the best entertainment experiences. Okay, the Fever, they're still in playoff position. Despite running against that injury monster all season. And did you know that one of their trainers has like injured their AC? Like it's it's like going into the staff. Like the monster is like, enough players. I will go into the staff now.
We've infected all the players with injuries.
I know.
So now we have to get the rest of the team. Everyone must be on bed rest.
My goodness. So they're not out of the woods yet. The Sparks can still catch up to them for the final playoff spot. They can actually finish as high as number 4 with their final 4 games, but they also could fall apart. We don't know what's going to happen with the Ian and Fever. They also can get more injuries. They could also just lose everybody on the team. I don't know what to say about the Ian and Fever. Yeah. I don't even think that Caitlin Clark is coming back. I feel like it's too late for her to integrate into the team for the playoffs.
I don't know why you'd risk re-injury at this point unless you make it into the playoffs. And if they make a playoff run, then I think you would bring her back in to see if you can push it. But it's now been like basically months without her. So if you're just playing out the rest of the season and you don't have a playoff run in you, I don't know why you'd bring her back for regular season play at this point. We're kind of in a game of musical chairs at this point because there's 4 teams that don't have their standings locked in, and there's 3 spots left. So it's kind of it's really a musical chairs situation right now.
Yeah.
So who will end up without a chair at the end of this? I do not know. The Fever is really like holding on by a thread in terms of their the general team's health and everything. They've got 2 of their big 5 and of their kind of 2 or 3 of their starting lineup, and then another handful of their regular team. And there's a ton of, first string as well as backbenchers that are out sick. It's just like, if they can pull it together, that's great. But yeah, if the Sparks can pull through, they're a full game behind the Fever. I can see them kicking the Fever out. If the Storm lose another game or 2, I can see them falling straight out. I do feel like the Valkyries are going to be the next team to clinch it, though.
Yeah, I agree with you. So the Sparks, they have like a few games left, right? I think that they have an opportunity. They are your dark horse for the playoff run, right?
They are my dark horse. Yeah, okay, and they're 5 for 5 in the last 10. So they're trending right down the middle of the 4 remaining teams. Like the Fever is sitting just under that, and then the other 2 teams are sitting just over that, right? Is I think how the stats are sitting. So I think the Sparks still have a chance. If they win another one, the Fever lose, then then your fortunes are turned, and that's the Sparks in the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah. So I honestly think that Dearica Hamby is coming in, and she is just a standout right now during this run.
I think she's a real contender for MIP this year. Absolutely.
One of the hottest discussions right now is MVP. We have 3 players that are at the top right now. We're talking Napheesa Collier, A'ja Wilson, and Alyssa Thomas. And every time somebody mentions Alyssa Thomas, they're like, this is the dark horse. Is she the dark horse? Let's get into it. So Napheesa Collier, MVP. From the very beginning of the season, everybody was like, this is our MVP. Right? They kind of called it from the beginning, which I don't think is fair because it didn't give other people a chance to even come in. We didn't even start the season yet. So she came in playing really hard, like really tough. She was out with a sprained ankle since August 2nd. She just came back a couple of weeks ago. And when she came back, the MVP race looked a lot different because A'ja Wilson was on a tear and brought the Aces from 8th place to 2nd place. So we're like, is she able to come back and play the same way she did before she went away with an injury, right?
Yeah.
And she did. Fee right now is averaging 23.5 points, 7.5 rebounds, 3.3 assists, and 1.7 steals.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, I think what I was reading this week is that Fee is on, like, in terms of the statistics, that she's back on top of the rankings in terms of like cold hard numbers. She's sitting in number one. So I think, she feels like pre-anointed, but it's not the end of the season. And I'm really curious. I know that the Lynx is still holding their lead basically in the rankings. I don't think anyone's going to catch up to them. So that probably also helps Fee's stats. So Fee is definitely still in first place. She is the favorite and she has been all season. Like you said, I don't love to see a pre-anointed winner, and it does feel like the gods decided that Asia Wilson had enough MVPs and it was time for someone else to be awarded. Napheesa Collier is an outstanding player, clearly, and has led her team to an incredible season. And so I think there's a very high chance that she will get it, but it seems like she will really need to retain her scoring position for the rest of this regular season in order to be able to really hold that number one place for MVP. And it has not been she has not been a number one consistently. Like you say, Asia was a number one previously, and has really helped to bring her team up. So it's really a question of how these final games close out.
Let's talk about the highlights this year. Aside from her stats, in the 2025 All-Star game, she scored 36 points, an All-Star scoring record, and also grabbed 9 rebounds, earning All-Star MVP. She was named Western Conference Player of the Month in July, which is her third straight monthly honor this season. So she's already getting great accolades. So she's setting herself up for the MVP title. And so I just think that everybody is cheering for her and everyone's saying that it's her time. I don't think she's been MVP before, but
No,
whereas
this would be first time
Asia,
winner.
right? Whereas Asia's already been MVP 3 times. But I don't think that just because you've been MVP 3 times that you can't be it again.
And if she is the top performer, she should get it. And I don't think that there's any reason to handicap a player because of their previous success. And I think it was Becky who said it. Like, if you are making all of your comparisons with Asia as your starting point, that means Asia is still at the top of the game.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about Asia motherfucking Wilson. Okay. 3-time MVP, just launched her A1 with Nike. She is the GOAT. She is the GOAT. Her game is flawless. She single-handedly brought the Aces from 8th place to 2nd place within a month. Within a month, run. Right? She's had a crazy one. She's had a crazy A run. See what I did there? Her stats, 23.4 points per game, 10.1 rebounds, 3.1 assists, 1.6 steals. Okay. She's posted a dominant stat line, like I just mentioned there. And she's the first ever 30 plus points and 20 rebounds in one game, which was on August 10th, 2025. So Asia, just because she got it 3 times doesn't mean she doesn't deserve to get it again. Like you said, like Becky Hammond said, Asia Wilson is the conversation. She deserves, I think she is the MVP.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. She is the conversation. The big question is really where is she? So this week she's down. I think we know that she's down in 3rd this week based on kind of cold hard stats. But she also only played 1 game in the week that was putting her up for consideration. So she dropped in the rankings from 1st to 3rd, but there are still games left to play.
Let's talk about AT. Nate Tibbetts, Phoenix Mercury coach. She has been overlooked her whole career. She's a vet. And now we're only paying attention to her because of all her triple doubles. But she has been a force, right? She's been playing in Connecticut most of her career. And now she's with the Phoenix Mercury. She's the first player ever to record 3 consecutive triple doubles. And I think she's had more triple doubles in her career, like this season, than any other player has had in their whole career.
She's at 6, right? I think
she's at 7.
She's at 7?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she's basically averaging a triple-double right now, which is literally unheard of. That's insane. And
she
the
was
team
sick
is
last
doing
week,
well.
and she got a triple-double.
Yeah. It's really incredible what she's doing. And I think like if you're going by the horse race, she's currently in second after having been sitting in after having been in third last week. So she's raised up from third, I believe, to second. And yeah, I mean, she is a baller. She's been a baller for a long time. She was a lot of the glue that held the Connecticut Sun together. But for her to land on this team and have this team just gel, like this is what we don't see with other teams, right? Like we have not seen this gelling with a team like the Sky. We haven't seen this gelling. Like there are great players on other teams as well, but you get this vet and she lands on a team where she can really shine and the skill sets just align like stars. She is just so well positioned for this award. And, I would love to see it. I think that she's as Nate said, an overlooked player, someone who I don't think of as having the kind of brand name that someone like A'ja does. Like clearly A'ja is beloved. It's a name that people outside of the basketball world know. A'ja Wilson is a known entity. Alyssa Thomas is not such a known entity. She really is a silent assassin and she has played her game hard for a long time and she's finally kind of getting her due and I'm so happy to see it.
If we have to go back to stats, which I should have done earlier. I apologize for that. Her stats are not as strong, right? She's getting 16 points, 8.9 rebounds, 9.2 assists, and 1.6 steals per game. So her stats are much lower than Napheesa Collier and A'ja Wilson. Do you think that will impact anything at all?
Well, I mean, I think those stats are interesting because she's still averaging a triple double. So the impact that she's having on the game is not just like in terms of net points, right? Like she is showing a level of well-roundedness from her position. In terms of a guard, she's making baskets. She's also doing excellent work in assists, right? Like she is helping to move that ball around the court. She's got really good court vision. And for someone in her position to be getting that many rebounds per game, like that is not what you see from most people in her position. So she is showing a level of across the board quality. Mm-hmm. Whereas typically the reason we don't see many triple doubles is because you see guards getting a lot in they get a lot of assists, they get a lot of points. You see your forwards getting a lot of rebounds and a lot of points. You do not often see someone who has all of the pieces of the puzzle where they can get a lot of points, get a lot of rebounds, and get all of those assists. That requires a specific skill set to have all of those working in tandem all the time that most people just don't have. But then we've got 10 or 11 days left of regular season play. 10 or 11 days left of regular season play. So it's just a big moment for so many things, for the MVP, for the playoff clinching. Like I'm really excited to see who gets in, what those seeds turn out to be. I'm very, very excited to see what happens.
So that's it for Court Candy. From the playoff run to the MVP race, we've got the sweet, the sour, and everything in between covered. Be sure to subscribe and follow us on all social media platforms at Court Candy Pod. Until then, have a sweet week, and we'll catch you next week.